Welcome, everybody, to episode 13 of the Ringside Rewind podcast with Matt and Andre. And I'm your co host, Andre, alongside with my other co host, Matt. And Matt, go ahead and say hello to the wonderful followers of our podcast.
What's up, everybody out there in pro wrestling world?
So, Matt, lots of tea that we got to spill on this podcast episode 13, 13 weeks and running. Thank you guys for the support. Shout out to y'all for helping us grow and get us the numbers that we love to see. We're almost at 1,000 on Facebook, so let's keep that number running up and up and up, because we're for sure gonna hit 1,000. I'm confident of it right
Yes,
before we hit.
sir.
Yeah, so look at it, Matt stealing my catchphrase. But let's start with Monday Night Raw. Let's go ahead and just go dive right into it like we always do. And Matt, what an opening segment between Obafemi and Brock Lesnar. We saw Brock Lesnar come out with Paul Heyman and Oba obliterating Brock Lesnar once again for the second week in a row. And Matt, I'm just going to tell you this right now. I'm really looking forward to this match. I'm really looking forward to this match. This match is going to be a game changer. And my honest prediction for this match, I think Oba's coming out on top of this match, because I don't think you have Brock look the way that he does right now, weak, against an opponent like Obafemi for nothing. Oba's the future. WWE sees it. Brock Lesnar sees it. We all see it. And I can confidently say I can see Obafemi's hand being raised at the end of this match, which I'm pretty sure it's going to be night two.
Whether or not it's night one or night two is irrelevant to me. This is great. I said last week on our show that I was shocked that Brock took the falls from grace. I was shocked that he allowed him to do it. But the fact now that he got the upper hand on him, knocked him out of the ring, clotheslined him right over the top rope, I'm wondering why they're letting Brock look so weak. You know, what is the mindset behind this story? Is it just to build Obafemi? I don't know, but I'm looking forward to this. You know, something I said to somebody else the other day, we were talking specifically about this, and I'll share this with you, brother. I hope that this is not a squash match. We've seen Brock Lesnar matches where boom, 1, 2, 3, whether or not he takes the win or takes the pin, where it's less than 2-3 minutes and the match is over. I hope that they let these two go at it. These two guys need to have and put on a hell of a show for us in Vegas.
I completely agree. I don't think we're going to see a squash match. I think we're going to see a really good, hard-fought battle between the two, a very hard-hitting match. These are two of the biggest heavyweights in the roster right now, and I just don't see this match lasting 2-3 minutes. I think this match is going to be a really good match to where it's going to be probably upwards to maybe about 15-20, where we see just really good, hardcore, just nonstop action between the two.
I hope it goes that long. I really hope it does. And you know what's funny is Brock Lesnar couldn't lift him up for the F5. He struggled trying to he got him on his shoulders and he hoisted him up, but he couldn't get him up to perform the F5. But Brock Lesnar could lift the 500-pound Big Show? Come on. Why are we making Brock Lesnar the Beast, a future Hall of Famer, a 10-time WWE champion, a UFC champion? I said it last week as well. Why are we making him look weak now? He's got to get the upper hand. Raw's in Madison Square Garden this Monday night. I'm looking forward to it. Brock's got to get something on Oba. He's got to get something back. You know, hopefully he F5s him. I don't know why he couldn't pick him up last time, but we got to get something on Madison Square Garden. It's got to be something big. I hope Brock gets the upper hand this Monday night.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens this Monday. Obviously, at MSG, going to be a very good episode of Raw. Lots of surprises I think we're going to see. You know, whenever Raw is an MSG, it's always going to be a good time. So I can't wait for that match. I can't wait to see what happens with the Brock segment and Obafemi segment. So nonetheless, let's move on to the next segment, which really caught the attention of our eyes. And that was Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman. Seth coming out after Paul Heyman is in the ring, pretty much saying, "What am I doing here? Seth Rollins, come out here. Where are you?" And Seth Rollins definitely shows up, appears, comes out of the crowd, stands up on the announcer's desk, unmasks himself. And then After that, we've got a few police officers, Boston PD, coming in and making sure that the peace between Paul Heyman and Seth Rollins is maintained. And nonetheless, we see Paul Heyman keep running his mouth as Seth is walking towards the backstage area, being followed by Boston PD. Then to which Paul Heyman then mentions Seth Rollins' wife, Becky Lynch, being married to half the locker room, and then mentions Seth and Becky's daughter, Rue. It's saying some stuff about her, and that's when Seth snaps, punches Paul Heyman in the face. Paul Heyman falls back, and obviously Seth Rollins is then placed into handcuffs and is arrested for his assault on Paul Heyman. We see Paul Heyman in the corner laughing, evil Paul Heyman. Matt, what are your thoughts on this segment, and what do you think we could possibly see at WrestleMania?
Said it once, I'll say it again. Give the Academy Award to the wise man, to the Oracle, to the founder of ECW, to the Hall of Famer, Paul Heyman. He is so good. You know, he was baiting Seth the whole time. Like you said, the cops came, took Seth off the table, was walking him through the crowd, and he just kept going. You know, he was throwing jabs saying about Becky Lynch being with the locker room. And then as you are in jail and you get taken to jail, I will adopt your daughter, is what he said. And just like any father, I'm a father, guys. If anybody said that about my kid, I know I would overreact too. Seth runs in, boom, punches him right in the face, knocks him down, and Paul's laughing in the corner. You know, they, like you said, the cops got Seth, arrested him, put the handcuffs on him. We're walking him out of the ring. And then the camera goes straight to Paul Heyman. And he's just sitting there like, and he's just big old smile and laughing. He wanted Seth to hit him. So I'm thinking it's going to lead to some kind of restraining order or something. This story is heating up again. Okay. We thought the Vision story died on a couple weeks ago when Braun and Bronson went out. There's something there now, man. And we still don't know what Seth's doing for WrestleMania. We don't know if Seth's even got a match at WrestleMania, but this is good. Keep looking out, guys. This is really good. Paul Heyman has something up his sleeve.
I'm going to call it right now, and I think we see Braun Breaker at MSG on Monday. I'm thinking because I've seen reports. Mind you, sometimes the dirt sheets are off. Sometimes the dirt sheets are actually really pretty on point. I follow some pretty reputable pages on Facebook, all right? And most of the time, they're actually kind of right. But I do think that we maybe see Braun Breaker at MSG, and whether or not that he does any physical work where he spears Seth Rollins or you know, he just makes an appearance, I think we see Braun Breaker. I think we're slowly getting to that point that maybe we see Braun Breaker versus Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. I would love for that match to happen because that match needs to happen. That's what that match was bound to happen in the first place. Hadn't that obviously Seth got injured and then Braun Breaker unfortunately suffered his hernia. But I think we see Braun Breaker. I've seen reports that he's getting close to his recovery, and I'm hoping that's true because I think in order to really top off and put the cherry on top of this storyline, we need to put Braun Breaker back into the mix. Obviously, we're not going to see Bronson Reed. He's going to be out for a while. But I think we hopefully see the appearance of Braun Breaker.
Well, if you look at the weeks, he got hurt the Monday night after the Rumble. So the Rumble was on January 31. So that was Saturday. So February 2nd would have been the Monday, right? If I'm just doing rough calendar math in my head, guys. So he got hurt on the Monday Night Raw after the Rumble, which would have been February 2nd. So March 2nd puts him at 4 weeks. Today's the 27th. So that's what, 4, 5, 6 weeks now he's been out. So he's been off television for about 6 Monday nights. I don't know. It's close. You know, I would love to see Braun Breaker there. I would love to see that. That would just elevate this story, Andre, just to another level. It would just elevate it to another level. And you know what's funny? Watch Braun Breaker come through the crowd as a masked man.
I was going to say, I would love it that, you know, obviously we've seen Seth Rollins be surrounded by the masked man. I would love it if Braun Breaker was one of those guys and he ends up putting a chair on his back. That would be top tier storyline. Obviously, everybody knows the history when it comes down to Seth Rollins and chairs to the back, right? What a way for it to kind of come full circle and be turned on him. So I would love to see that. MSG, like I said, it's going to be a great night. Lots of obviously storylines and that we're heading into it. And one of those things is we've got the Usos facing against the Vision for the World Tag Team titles, and not in any just normal wrestling match, right? We're gonna see Big Bronx, Big Apple street fight that night, and I can't wait to see what what happens this match. I think the Usos are gonna lose the tag titles. I think their focus now is the Roman Reigns CM Punk storyline. The Usos obviously getting very actively involved, as we've seen the last couple weeks with that. Ever since Punk called out Roman and his father that had passed away. Now you're offending the whole bloodline. And let's go talk about this first, because this specific portion between the Usos division, before we head into the real one, which is obviously the Punk and Roman storyline. That's the meat that the meat and rice that I want to talk about. But Usos versus Vision, I think the Usos lose this match, unfortunately, and lose the tag titles to the Vision. Matt, what are your thoughts on this?
100% agree with you. I think they have to lose this match. I think in order to build more for Roman and for Punk, I think the Usos have to drop the titles. I don't think they should go into WrestleMania as the WWE tag team champions. I think they should drop the titles. And with this being a New York City street fight in Madison Square Garden, I wished I was there to see this, because I think there's so much storyline there. You got LA Knight that's going to be involved in this somehow. You got, I think Punk may stick his nose into the match. I mean, and I could see this stuff kind of happening, you know. Austin Theory, he cut out a really good promo on his Instagram the other day talking about, you know, how he got screwed with the brass knucks. And we're just seeing a different side of main event Jey Uso. We're not just seeing a bloodline main event Jey Uso. We're seeing a little bit of a different attitude Jey Uso. Not the yeeting through the crowd with the little kid Jey Uso. So I want to see that. You know, you mentioned last week on our show that Naomi and Big Jim had their baby. So I could see Jim maybe taking some time or being out maybe after WrestleMania, but I don't see them winning this match. I see them losing this. I see this will elevate the Vision storyline with Paul Heyman to a next level, because Heyman wants the Vision to win the tag titles. So lot there, lot to happen. I think it's going to be interesting, but I agree with you. I think they're losing.
Yeah, I agree. I think we need to see some gold around the Vision to kind of put some how do you say, some more attention back into that storyline. I think it died, especially once Bronson Reed was out with that injury. Where it really died was the Seth, in my opinion. I think that's where it really kind of got killed off, because now you're out with Seth, and the turn on Seth was way too early for it to really make a lot of sense. Honestly, we didn't really see a lot of motion with them. But nonetheless, I think, yes, the Usos are going to lose it. I think we see hot-headed crash out Jey Uso, where his emotions cost them the title. Yeah, I'm just leave it at that. We've got the Vision winning that match, coming out victorious between them and the Usos. Let's move on, because obviously I want to take more of the time to really discuss the main storylines on Raw and SmackDown. The next thing I have on my list, let's talk about Steph and Liv. We saw Stephanie Becerra attack Liv Morgan from behind with the entrance of Dominic Mysterio as he was heading out to his IC title match with Penta. We saw about a good 55 second, about a minute fight between them happen backstage in Gorilla. And I thought it was great. I love seeing Steph and Liv kind of go at it, especially knowing kind of the segments leading up to it. Matt, I don't think I've asked you your opinion on this match, but do you think Liv Morgan comes out on top after this world title match at WrestleMania?
I have two theories on this, and without going too much into it, because I know I really want to spend our time on what we have for the, like you said, the meat and rice. I don't see Liv winning. I see Stephanie retaining at WrestleMania. And I see her retaining at WrestleMania, teaming up with Dirty Dom. That's my prediction right now. As the story progresses, I'm always welcome to change that prediction. That's one thing I love about pro wrestling. You could always change how you feel show after show. But I could see something like that. You know, just a few years ago when Dom screwed Rhea at SummerSlam was because of Liv, right? And Liv was obsessed with Dominic. Could you picture if Stephanie somehow turns heelish, teams up with Dirty Dom, and we get a heel Stephanie Vaquer on Raw the Monday night after WrestleMania? Whew. La Primera, that would be phenomenal. And all of a sudden we shift Liv to that babyface Liv. She already gets a pop, and Judgment Day's falling apart. So if I'm in the writer's room, what am I going to do with Liv? Keep her with being heelish Liv with Raquel and Roxanne? And we haven't seen Roxanne on Raw in 2-3 weeks. She hasn't been there. So I don't know what's going on with Roxanne. I haven't heard anything about her being injured or hurt. And Raquel's just going back and forth. Now she's kind of just like the enforcer bodyguard for Liv Morgan. She's there at ringside, and that's it. So that's my guess on it. And I know in a few weeks when we do our WrestleMania show, we'll talk more about how we feel before and after the show. But I'm going right now that I think La Primera turns and joins with Dom, and Liv gets screwed at WrestleMania.
I'm not gonna lie, you cooked with that one. I would love to see that. I think Stephanie Vaquer as a heel would definitely be something to make her character elevate to another level. And then not only on top of that, too, just elevate the world title in general. I think with her, I love seeing her as champion. And I would like for her to stay as champion after WrestleMania, especially with this being her first WrestleMania. We've seen Liv Morgan already be world champ. Honestly, not long ago, right? We saw her. She had a great year last year, 2025. I would like to see Stephanie Vaquer come out victorious with this match. But wow, yeah, what a theory you have, and hopefully that comes to be true, because what a way to kind of drop that bombshell at Mania, or if it's the Raw after Mania, what a way for you to really just kick off the new season of Monday Night Raw and WWE in general.
And here's the last thing I'll say about it. You know why I started thinking that? My little brain started rolling like it does. You know why? Because that segment when they were in the backstage and Stephanie and Dom were going back and forth talking Spanish, and Liv didn't have the slightest idea what the hell they were saying. And I knew everything they were saying. I know they put the little dot on the bottom, and I was understanding what they were saying. And they weren't talking anything like a relationship. But I think that kind of got me thinking, what if? Because Dom would stop and look at her like, and then she would look at Dom, and Liv would just like dumbfounded because she didn't know what the hell they were saying. I'm thinking right now, because what else do we do with Dominic? He's doing a thing with Finn, but could you picture if somehow he's involved in that? Like night 2? I don't remember if they're going on night 1 or night 2, but could you, night 1. Okay, perfect.
Dirty Dom, teach me your ways, man. You got Rhea, you got Liv, and you possibly have Stephanie Vaquer. I mean, and let's not forget Roxanne Perez while Liv was out.
Yeah.
Teach me your ways, man. Anyways, long story short, love that. Love your theory, and let's see if that's true come WrestleMania. Now, the meat and bones that I want to talk about. Let's get straight to it, because I've been wanting to talk about this. All right. Like, I got a lot to say, so be prepared. I might take a few minutes. So obviously we saw the Usos and the Vision kind of go at it, right? That match that they had, it was a non-title match. I think previously they might have announced it as a title match, but then they removed it. They did the same thing with Julia and Tiffany Stratton tonight. Nonetheless, don't want to get sidetracked. We saw the Usos face the Vision last week. Logan Paul pulls out the brass knuckles. Then LA Knight's music hits. LA Knight then attacks Logan Paul from behind. Which, by the way, I don't know if you've seen footage from the crowd with LA Knight jumping the barricade, but it's actually hilarious because he like slips and falls.
Yeah, I saw it.
And I'm like, oh my God. Like, dude, Anyways, the memes that
Live
come with that.
Live TV.
It is, yeah. I don't know. LA Knight's had a bad series of botches, I feel like, lately, and it's just, dude, come on. Anyways, we saw LA Knight get involved with that match, prevents Logan Paul from using the brass knuckles. He then grabs the brass knuckles and shovel passes it over to Jay. Jay, being the emotional self that he is, then takes the brass knuckles, puts them on his fists, and in front of the referee, does not care at all, and punches Austin Theory straight in the face. Referee's like, dude, what the heck are you doing? You're disqualified. Vision ends up winning that match. And then shortly after that, Logan Paul enters the ring. Logan Paul meet the brass knuckles that you introduced at the match in the first place. Jey Uso hits him in the face with the same brass knuckles that he hit with Austin Theory. And boom, end segment. Fast forward here a few minutes later, we see the segment between the Usos and LA Knight and them talking backstage. Jey Uso then says, I don't care who you are. You talk dirt about my family, you're going to get got. LA Knight says, hey, I understand that, right? That's your family. But it sounds to me you're sounding a lot like Roman. Now, for those people who actually follow me on TikTok, right? My personal account, Tatted Islander, go follow if you haven't yet, all right? If you have been following my TikTok, I posted a video on this specifically with clips on my theory of this. And I've been saying this since day one, since January, honestly. We saw in that segment, and prior to that as well, Roman then inviting his family, hey, you want to get after Punk? Go at it. Before or after Mania, but during Mania, he's mine. Let's fast forward back to this segment now, right? We then see LA Knight saying, hey, you're sounding a lot like Roman. Where did we hear that before? We saw that happen the previous Friday when the MFTs lost the WWE tag team titles. Solo was infuriated with that. Tama Tonga then tells Solo, hey, you sound a lot like Roman, right? So those little crumbs that WWE creative is leaving us, right? Now, the crucial part of this segment backstage is the fact that during this whole time, once Jey Uso leaves the frame, we see a perfect clear shot of LA Knight and Jimmy Uso. And who do we see right on that trailer? Nice bald-headed person of The Rock. And it was a nice shot of him because it was right down the middle, right? Right down the middle. It was so clear. It was so clear that we saw The Rock's picture, right? And my theory is this, right? I said from day one, I said that in January that it would be great to see The Rock be involved with the Vision storyline. I said from day one that The Rock being a part of just any storyline would enhance it, right? And when we talked about obviously Roman then inviting, his family, right? Cousins, whatever it may be, it should not only insult me, it should insult you. That's your uncle, right? And you mentioned this as well, The Rock, right? I think we see The Rock involved with this. And if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. Laugh in my face, talk all the crap that you want. But I'm saying this right now. I think The Rock is going to be involved. I can't but think that he's going to involve. WWE loves to do this thing. For those who are hardcore wrestling fans, know this. They love to leave Easter eggs in these backstage segments, right? We saw it the previous Friday before all this happened with, for example, Jade Cargill, B-Fab, and Mi Chin, right? Saw it happen. I saw it clear as day backstage. If you guys don't have a clue what I'm talking about, go look it up right now on YouTube. You could look it up. It was there, right? Plain as day, right? Especially with it being WrestleMania season, there's a lot to pay attention to in terms of details and Easter eggs. And I think we see The Rock at some point, hopefully at MSG. I'm so pumped for this segment to happen. And so obviously that end segment one, right? A lot to digest here for you, Matt. As soon as I'm done. Then we see the segment happen between later that night, the CM Punk, Roman Reigns, and the Usos. CM Punk calls Jey Uso out of his name. Jey Uso comes out and he tells Punk, all you ever do is talk crap about me and about my family, right? All you ever do is talk crap. Where's Roman? Where's Roman? Where's Roman? We're seeing hot-headed crash out Jey Uso, the Jey Uso that we all fell in love with because we saw that this is main event Jey Uso. This is before Yeet Jey Uso, right? This is main event Jey Uso. Roman finally comes out. Jey obviously being very emotional and hot-headed at that time. Obviously, Punk instigating him. Nah, go ahead and stay in the ring. Jake attempts to come after Punk. Obviously, we see Roman Superman punch CM Punk. Obviously, then later attacking CM Punk. And the crucial part of it is obviously once CM Punk and the Roman Reigns are separate, Roman's about to step out of the ring. And he's telling Joe, go after him, Joe. Go get him. You know what to do. And just like that, Jey Uso activates Roman Reigns like the Winter Soldier. And Roman Reigns then spears the crap out of CM Punk. And then later on, puts him through the ring post and through the announce desk. Matt, that's all I got to say. Mic drop. That was a fire segment. Cannot wait for MSG. I'm just going to leave it all in your court. I think it was pure cinema storytelling. To me, this is the main storyline that has me on the edge of my seat. This is the main storyline that has me literally begging for Monday Night Raw happening. And I can't wait to see what happens at Madison Square Garden. It's going to be huge. Anytime Raw is in Madison Square Garden, it's almost like a PLE, honestly. Yes. So, Matt, I'm going to let you take the court. I've taken enough of the time, but it's yours.
I think you nailed everything, bro. I'm trying to think where to even start. You are 100% right. WWE likes to drop Easter eggs. They like to tell us this. I will tell you this. I have never, and The Rock means ever, seen his picture on a production truck. I've been to shows. I've never seen The Rock's picture. I've seen trucks. I've taken photos in front of them. I've posed in front of them. I've seen them all throughout the shows. They've had legends. I've seen Stone Cold on trucks. I've seen Hulk Hogan. I've seen Roddy Piper, CM Punk. I've seen everybody on the roster on these trucks. I've never seen The Rock's photo ever on one of these trucks. And let's fast forward all the way to WrestleMania 40 when The Rock and Cody were in Chicago. It was the first time that the Rock got to Cody. They were outside his bus. Rock was beating him up. And there was a picture of Cena on the truck and a picture of Stone Cold on the truck, which we found out later that was the WrestleMania 40 story. Originally, Stone Cold was supposed to be where the Undertaker spot was going to happen. And then, of course, Austin had knee surgery, couldn't make it. Time didn't work out. They couldn't get Stone Cold there for 40. They substituted him with the Phenom, the Undertaker. But on the truck, when they were out there fighting and The Rock was fighting Cody, it was Cena who ended up being in that match for WrestleMania 40, and that spot should have went to Stone Cold. Okay, so we know that these Easter eggs mean something.
Can I also add something real quick too?
Yeah, go ahead.
Let's also include that the fact that I mentioned this to you because I was on the phone with you, but WWE uploaded the full segment that happened between The Rock and Cody Rhodes when The Rock attacked Cody Rhodes that same night because it was the anniversary of it.
Yes.
And I think WWE loves to do these things, right? Where they like to kind of help remind people what happened. They don't do this just to do it, right? They do it because there's a purpose behind it. And they want us to get our minds going and whatnot. And so everything's for a purpose. Matt, go ahead. Sorry to cut you off.
No, brother, it's okay. It's the vignettes. You're right. These little vignettes. And it's kind of different for us wrestling fans that have been around for the years. I come from an old school time of wrestling. We didn't have social media. We had to wait till Monday night to figure out what happened. You had to wait till Friday night. The show continued Monday to Friday, Friday to Monday, Monday to Friday. Boom, PLE at the end of the month. We didn't have now where the wrestlers tell the story on their personal Instagram. I mean, think about this. Roman Reigns last night went on the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon and cut a hell of a promo on CM Punk. and it went viral. I watched it like 4 or 5 times. And he was on the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon and cut one hell of a promo. Hey, Punk, if you're, or hey, Phil, if you're awake, making fun of him for being asleep because he's old. I mean, that's just like, wow. So the whole WrestleMania storyline's being told on the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. It's stuff like that we're not used to seeing from the past. And now the storyline is being told like that. You're right. Anything you put The Rock in, no matter what it is, it's going to go viral. It's going to sell. And people are going to you're going to have your critics out there. The Rock did this. Rock did that. Rock hates WWE. Rock ruined the Cena turn. No, he did not. Okay. The Rock is The Rock. He's the final boss. He's the ultimate villain on the show. I'm looking forward to it. Madison Square Garden is going to blow the roof off if the great one shows up. And even if he doesn't show up, like I said to you before, and I've said on our show, The Rock just has to send a tweet. How's the weather in New York City? Something like that. Man, it's good to be in New York. Anything like that. Just drop a little hint. That's all he has to do. And everybody's going to be like, what the hell's going on? CM Punk too. If I could just touch on that real quick. I loved what he did. I think he's doing great. The whole storyline is phenomenal. But he's like, Jay was telling his brother Jimmy, where is Roman? Where is Roman? And Punk said, he's like, did you hear what Punk said? He's like, yeah, I ask that every week. Where is Roman? I love that. He's telling the truth. And remember, Roman told Jimmy, get your brother and get out of my ring. And that's when Punk said, no, Jay, you stay. He needs the backup. And that's what set Jay off. And of course, Jay got punched by Punk, and then they took him out. But Madison Square Garden, be ready. Something's going to happen. Something explosive is going to happen on Raw. And I hope it's The Rock, but if it's not, it's going to be big. I think we're going to see something. And I think Punk's going to take it again this Monday night. And I think you see the Usos and Roman may get the upper hand on Punk, but something's going to be big. It's going to be explosive on Monday night. It has to be.
Matt, I want to touch on something that bothered you, though, throughout this week. And it was the fact that people were theorizing that Jey Uso was actually the tribal chief and not Roman because he was taking orders from Roman, right? Now, here's my theory, right? Jay was reminding Roman of who he was.
Yes.
Head of the table, Roman Reigns. Tribal chief, Roman Reigns, right?
Yes.
Because this is what the tribal chief and the head of the table would have done already, right? Smash them all, he said. We haven't heard smash them all ever since the very early stages of the bloodline, right? He reminded Roman Reigns of who he really was. I have not heard smash them all in a very long time, Matt.
You know what, bro? You are absolutely right. And I remember talking to you earlier in the week about this. It did bother me. It bothered me reading all my feeds, and I follow almost everything with pro wrestling. How everybody was saying, well, now Jey Uso's the head of the table. Jey Uso's he's the tribal chief. He's giving orders to Roman. No, he is not. Absolutely not. When Raw went off the air, they were walking back. And you can go back and look this up. We always say, go back and look it up. Check us, verify us. When Raw went off the air, they were walking back. Roman was walking ahead. Jimmy and Jay were right behind him. Jay was walking behind Roman doing this. Jimmy wasn't doing that. And I know Raw went off the air, but once again, we tell the story not just on TV. Triple H said a long time ago, film it, put it on the Instagram. That's how we're going to do it. I'll never forget the Cody Rhodes, Kevin Owens fight outside his bus. That storyline was written. Triple H's idea was, I want Kevin to attack him. The fans will film it and they'll sell it for us. And when that was unheard of, the people like me in old school wrestling, this isn't what they attacked him outside the show. Remember when he pile drive did Cody after Saturday night's main event went off the air. It was all Triple H's idea because the fans will tell us, the fans will sell it. Think about that. Jay was walking behind Roman with his finger up in the sky, just like the old school bloodline. Jimmy wasn't doing that. Jimmy just falls in line. He's always been Roman's yes man. Yes, sir. Because that's exactly what he said in the ring. Get your brother and get him out of my ring. And all Jimmy said was, yes, sir. And that's when Punk said, no, Jay, stay. And that's what pissed off Jay. So Jey Uso is not the head of the table. He is not the tribal chief. He is not taking over. It's Roman. He was reminding Roman, you are the tribal chief. You are the head of the table. You run this family, which opens up to the final boss.
Exactly that. And this is, like I said, this is more so right-hand man Jey
Yes.
Uso. This is the Jey Uso that hated the fact of Sami Zayn joining the bloodline. You know what I'm saying? This is the Jey Uso that everybody wanted after the fact that he split away from the bloodline. Yeah, we got Jey Uso, we got really good babyface Jey Uso, but it's time to switch back to what he really is, the emotional Jey Uso, the crash out version of him, right? This is the type of Jey Uso where he does things first, things later.
Yep.
So this is exactly what the fans want. He is so much better as this character. Don't be wrong. I love the Jey Uso babyface, you with the kids in the crowd, all that. But come on now. This is a nice little touch and edge to kind of add some more layers to his character. Because, like I said, we're very used to, the yeeting and all that stuff, the entrance, the presentation of all that. But when he's hot-headed and he's flowing and he's got a cadence in his promos where not every single time after every single word the crowd is saying yeet. Nah, this is what we want. The darker version of himself.
I agree. And if I could say one last thing about Jey Uso, if you remember going back to the Bloodline's days, they never threw him out of the bloodline. When him and Roman were going at it, it was more trying to put him back in line. Okay. And that's when Jimmy was doing. They had their hell. I believe they had it was a Hell in a Cell match, right? It was to put him in line to let him know that I'm the boss. You listen to me. But remember, it was Jey Uso that left the bloodline. He's the one said, I'm going to Raw. And he left. They never threw him out. And that's why when they needed to come together for Survivor Series a few years ago, Jimmy was begging Jay, hey, do it for the family, man. Do it for the family, man. Was War Games to go against, I believe it was Solo and his team, right? And that's when Punk came in and helped him. Paul Heyman brought Punk in and then owed him a favor, remember? That was last year, the year before, storyline leading into WrestleMania. So Jay left. The bloodline never left him. So remember that, folks. Jay left and became Yeet Jey Uso, main event Jey Uso. The bloodline didn't leave him.
Absolutely that. Let's go ahead and move on to SmackDown. We've got a lot to obviously talk about there. But let's start off first and foremost. The one thing that's on my mind right now: Sami Zayn versus Carmelo Hayes. Got a lot to say about Sami freaking Zayn. And Sami Zayn, your new United States champion. I've already seen people say, this isn't Sami Zayn, this is Sammy Hogan. And listen, for those who've been following us, I'm the biggest fan of Sami Zayn. I think his character is just, you need to change. We've seen him attack water bottles and other backstage equipment for the last few weeks. And then all of a sudden he's United States champion, wins against Carmelo Hayes. I think WWE creative really misses this one. Obviously we're seeing Sami Zayn versus Trick Williams as of right now, right? That could always change. We could always add a couple more players in that. Obviously Carmelo Hayes was hinting at Ilya again. Love the series that they had between each other. Ilya and Carmelo Hayes, great, outstanding in-ring performers. But if everybody knows really what the history is between Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams, especially dating back to NXT, that is something that you could have really built off of, in my opinion. I don't, and I'm not a fan of Sami Zayn being United States champion. I really think that if you were going to have a United States title match, between Trick Williams, and obviously the goal was to get Trick Williams into Mania. That was going to happen regardless, I think, given the fact that the reception that he's had ever since he's made his debut on the main roster. But I think you could have really done something with Carmelo Hayes, Trick Williams. I'm not a fan of Sami Zayn, if I'm being completely honest with you. I'm not a fan of the fact he's United States champion. I don't think it's necessary. He doesn't elevate the title, in my opinion. Hate me all you want, but I just don't think it really does anything. I think that United States champion should have still been Carmelo Hayes heading into WrestleMania. He's deserved it. He's hardworking. And it wasn't also long ago that we saw Sami Zayn as United States champion either. Why are we seeing this again? So I rest my case. That's all I got to say. Hopefully they add a couple more players. Like I said, let's make it a fatal four-way. Let's add Ilya. Let's add Melo. And hopefully WWE then switches over to Trick Williams being United States champion. I would love to see that. I would love to see Trick Williams to get some gold around his waist. But nonetheless, Matt, I'm going to have you take over because I've already said my opinion on it. I don't have anything nice to say about Sami Zayn right now.
I don't have much to say except for very simple. They had to do it. I think Carmelo Hayes was just.
No, they did not have to do it. I disagree with you on that.
I think Carmelo Hayes is just the guy that kind of got the shit end of the stick there, bro. If you really want my opinion on it. I was shocked. Because Sammy wanted to go to WrestleMania, and now he's going to WrestleMania. But Sammy took advantage of a situation. Trick went to hit Sammy. He wasn't going after Carmelo. Carmelo just got the shit end of the stick. And then, of course, he got the haluva kick. 1, 2, 3. And new United States champion, Sami Zayn. 2-time United States champion. So with that being said, that's what we get. WrestleMania, Trick versus Sammy for the U.S. title. If they throw Carmelo into that, I don't think it's going to be anything other than those two guys going for the IC title or for the U.S. title.
Lame. That's all I got to say.
Do whatever you can, Sami Zayn.
I'm not a fan, dude. I'm like, dude, really? Like, I don't think, dude, I just, I'm going to stop myself right now. Bro,
Sammy's going to WrestleMania and Carmelo's not.
How's that all due respect? That's disrespect to Carmelo Hayes. What are you talking about with that statement? Like, no, dude, And
I'm not against Carmelo. I'm just saying.
Oh,
Sammy's going to WrestleMania.
It's so disrespectful.
And think about it. 2 hours before SmackDown started, Sammy wasn't going to WrestleMania.
No, it's just Sammy's just all. I really feel like WWE has no clue what to do with Sami Zayn, and so they said, "Screw it. Let's just have him be United States champion again."
Carmelo got the shit end of the stick.
Like, oh my gosh, dude, come on, dude. WWE creatives on SmackDown, whoever's running, whoever produced that match, screw you. Like, seriously, come on, dude. What are you doing, bro? Like, y'all we know have so much. That's the thing that's what really irritates me. Is like we get so close. Like they tease us. It's like they know the history between Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams, and we could have gone that match. Instead, they would rather let's do Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn's a great competitor for Trick Williams. Oh, love that. No. They're doing the same thing right now with Tama Tonga and Shinsuke Nakamura. Those two have history in New Japan. Do I think they're ever going to team up together? No. Do I ever think that there's going to be some sort of storyline there besides the fact that obviously Shinsuke is trying to convince Tama to go out on his own and obviously rebel against Solo or split away his time from the MFTs? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm hoping, because like here's the thing. There's so much good history from other promotions that some of these wrestlers carry from, whether that's NXT, New Japan, TNA, built off of what they've kind of built themselves on. And kind of, you don't have to have the same exact storyline, but at least carry some of the history. These wrestlers, I just think creative needs to do a better job. I'm not going to lie to you. SmackDown compared to Raw, obviously right now, like SmackDown's kind of getting like, it's like B tier right now. Like it's not.
Well, tonight's was, I could tell you.
Yeah, it was. And that's the sad thing too. It's like these shows, especially as we get closer to Mania, these are supposed to be shows that we're like glued, like, oh my gosh, you know what I'm saying? But nah, it's just whatever. Let's just throw it together. It's just, I don't know. That's all I got to say.
And the last thing I'll say about it, Trick Williams' first match on the grandest stage of them all will be against Sami Zayn for the United States title.
And I hope he wins that match. All right, moving on. Um, we have up next that was just announced: Drew McIntyre versus Jacob Fatu in an unsanctioned match. Matt, this is going to be a great match. I don't know whether this is going to happen night one, night two. Which also, by the way, for those who have not figured out whether it's night one, night two, if it has the blue futuristic background, that's night two. If it's got the Mad Max Las Vegas, that type of graphic in the background, that's night one. I was able to figure that out pretty easily. So if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. Nonetheless,
I think you're onto something.
Yeah, I'm a conspiracy theorist. Let me put my tinfoil hat on. But Drew McIntyre versus Jacob Fatu unsanctioned match at WrestleMania 42. Gonna be a great match. That's gonna be a match that's gonna be happening throughout the whole entire stadium. Cannot wait for that. Drew McIntyre, I just gotta say, what a fantastic storyteller. Like, seriously, we have to really appreciate Drew while he's here, because ever since, honestly, that CM Punk feud that he had, he's just putting on bangers with these feuds that he's been having. I swear, like, Drew McIntyre, like, I really wish he had a longer reign as WWE champion. Hopefully we see him back in the world title picture after this WrestleMania. But nonetheless, I'm looking forward to this match, Matt.
I don't have much to say except for the fact I wanted it to be more like a Hell in a Cell. But when they said unsanctioned, I'm all for it. Let's do it. That's better than a Sin City street fight. Let's do it. And I agree with you. These two men are going to tear each other apart all throughout Allegiant Stadium. It's going to be a treat to see this live. I hope you guys are ready for this match. I could see it going on probably right before the main event. In fact, probably that's what's going to happen. And I think whether or not it's night one or night two, I don't know if they did the graphic thing yet on it, but I think it's going to be right before the main event. And it's going to be a treat for Allegiant Stadium. These two are going to kill it. And here's the one thing, too, I could say about this match is you have a 50-50 crowd. You got 50 people cheering for Jacob. You got 50 other people cheering for Drew McIntyre. It's going to be one hell of a match.
Honestly, cannot wait for that match to happen.
I'm ready.
I'm ready, too. Let's move on. Jelly Roll versus Kit Wilson. We saw Jelly Roll come out victorious in that match. Obviously, Kit Wilson prior to that got cursed by Danhausen. So Jelly Roll, what are your thoughts on Jelly Roll, Matt, being involved as of lately with SmackDown, him having a match with Kit Wilson? We obviously can talk about what happened later tonight, which was him getting RKO'd by Randy Orton. But what's your thoughts on Jelly Roll being involved in all of this?
Maybe just to draw eyes. He blotched a few moves in the ring tonight. You know, I know he's not a performer. He's not there every night doing it. I think one thing I read something on him that he's doing everything he can when he's out there to try to do it right, but not to hurt his other opponent, right? Because one mess up, he could paralyze somebody. But he did okay. I mean, for his first singles televised match on SmackDown, he got the 3 count. He beat somebody that everybody's cheering for. And I think it just leads to something at WrestleMania. You know, I was hearing somebody was telling me something the other day that they would maybe see him teaming up with somebody and going up against Kit Wilson and The Miz maybe at WrestleMania. I guess that may be where they go with it. But after tonight, what would happen? We'll talk about it in a second. But with Orton, I don't know. Jelly Roll's I think he's just entertaining. I think he's got the time off of doing whatever he's doing, and he's fulfilling his need doing this.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not a fan of him I think it's just unnecessary, him being a part of it all, if I'm being completely honest. Like,
a lot of people agree with you. A lot of people say
I just don't see the point of it. Like, it serves no purpose, in my opinion. Like, you know, I think they're just having, I mean, here's the thing. Obviously, WWE loves to add some sort of celebrity involvement when it comes to the bigger shows, especially with it being WrestleMania. Last year, we saw Travis Scott. Now, this year, we're seeing Jelly Roll. I just don't think it adds anything. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't really add value. So I'd rather not him be a part of it, if I'm being completely honest. But nonetheless, that's just my opinion. My opinion doesn't matter to WWE. They're going to do whatever they want. So yeah, that's my take on it. I'm not gonna lie to you. Obviously, we talked about prior to the show other stuff, but let's just get straight to the meat.
Yes.
And rice. Orton versus Cardona. We saw later on this tonight. Obviously, Randy tearing off the cast of Matt Cardona after he injured his hand after putting his hand through a chair and then obviously smashing it by kicking and stomping on the chair. Obviously Cody comes after Randy. You know, things get separated by security, and we see later on Jelly Roll get involved and Jelly Roll getting RKO'd by Randy and Randy smirking. Matt, you made a great point prior to us recording. They're doing everything in their power to get Randy heat, and it is not working. WWE made a huge mistake making him the heel. They should have made Cody. We said this a couple weeks ago when we were there live in Phoenix, when we saw Randy Orton attack Cody Rhodes. They should have made Cody the heel, because honestly, as much as they would love that, obviously they love Cody. He's their babyface. He's their next John Cena. He's the one that's saying, that's before the show doing all the stuff, and then after show doing all the stuff that he needs to do. He's putting the extra hours, the extra mileage. He's doing all the meet and greets. He's signing all the autographs. Matt, they should have never made him the babyface. Continue. I think they really should. They really should have made Cody the heel. Randy is getting cheered no matter what.
Yes.
They are not. Randy is doing everything in his power to get the heat and is not working. Randy is to many eyes the babyface. He is the babyface. He's still the babyface, right? Cody has gone to a point where, yes, he's been champion 3 times now, but now it's gone to the point where I think he's kind of just getting forced in front of our faces to be that champion. And rather than WWE taking changes on different people, or even just, you know, switching titles every now and then to really freshen it up. I mean, they have, but it's all roads, no pun intended, lead back to Cody. So Matt, I'm now passing the brass knuckles over to you now. No pun intended.
I like
what are your thoughts on all this happening?
Well, let's look at Cody Rhodes. Okay, let's start out with Cody Rhodes. Okay, let's go back to him winning at WrestleMania 40. Okay, finishing the story. The Rock was involved in that, which was one of the greatest builds to WrestleMania since I've seen in a long time, since WrestleMania 17 with The Rock and Stone Cold. Let's start there. Cody went that whole year and did not lose the championship until he lost the following year at WrestleMania to John Cena. Okay. Now Cena held the belt till SummerSlam, to where Cena did the heel run from Elimination Chamber of last year through the Smackdown right before SummerSlam. They turned Cena instantly. And Cena all of a sudden, even though Cena was still never really getting booed, you know, but he was the bad guy. Okay. And then Cody won it back. Our champion, our quarterback, won back the title from John Cena at SummerSlam of 25 last year. Then Cody has it all the way up into this year in January at 3 Stages of Hell in Berlin, where he lost to Drew McIntyre. And Drew held it for 4 weeks? And Cody got it back right after Elimination Chamber. So Cody's lost the title. So he's a 3-time champion, right? Am I doing the math right? Lost 1, lost. Yeah, 3. In almost 2 years. I think we're playing this out. I said it a few weeks ago that I thought in Phoenix that that's had to go to Cody. After Cody won against Drew and Orton was going to WrestleMania, I said we had to have a villain. This was not just a storyline like Punk and Roman with history and family and all that. They had to have a bad guy. And I said, now's the time at this contract signing to turn Cody. I made a reference about Star Wars. I said, think of like the Darth Vader and Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan and the Padawan learner, and Obi trained him and then he turned on him and broke his heart. That would have been interesting to see. They went the other way with it. And Orton is not getting booed. Every week on SmackDown, they're chanting, one more time, one more time. They were chanting that tonight about Jelly Roll. They wanted him to RKO him again. You know, and I don't even know if they'll ever do the punt kick again. I think that might be something that's off their list because he doesn't even try to go for it anymore. So maybe that's one of those banned moves, like the pile driver. So last week when he beat up Matt Cardona and broke his arm, they were chanting one more time, one more time. They wanted him to break his other arm. Tonight, he was destroying Matt Cardona, trying to get heat, throwing him against the ring poles, stomping on his broken arm, tore the cast off, did the Randy Orton drop on the table thing, beating him up and could not get heat. The crowd is cheering for this. But I tell you this, when Cody's music hit and he came out to the ring, got off his bus, there wasn't a loud pop like there used to be. So I agree with you. I think WWE may have made a mistake in their turn. And I know they do it because Cody, like you said, is the John Cena right now. He's the guy that they're hoping will carry the company. But us fans that want to see something doesn't mean we always get it. Like Triple H says, I could tease, pull back, tease and pull back. And with wrestling, I can make you a heel. I can make you a baby face, just like Cena. He was getting booed. Then he wasn't getting booed. And then that SmackDown before SummerSlam, he went on TV, made one or two comments, and he's everybody's hero again. And he was my hero too. I respect John Cena. We all do. He's the GOAT. In my mind, 17 championships, that makes you probably the greatest to do it right now. So I don't know where they go with this. I'm going to go with Randy Orton. I'm an Orton fan, but I also respect Cody. But I think they should have pulled the trigger. I think Cody should have been the Darth Vader in the story. He should have been the bad guy. And think of it now, real quick, guys out there listening. If it was Cody, we'd all be having a different conversation. I think we would be booing Cody. If Cody was doing everything to get heat on Orton and the roles were reversed, we'd all be booing Cody. We would all be like, that's the bad guy going into WrestleMania as the champion. And Orton's just chasing 15.
I think the storyline would be a lot more enticing with Cody as the bad guy and Randy as the good guy. I mean, we've seen, like I said, Randy as the bad guy before. The majority of his career is being spent as the bad guy.
He's
You know, so, you know, obviously I don't want to go over our time with our podcast episode, but I'm gonna just say this, right? WWE has been making a lot of mistakes lately. with their like, listen, you guys listen to the crowd, you hear it, I know they see it online. So Bruce Pritchard, Nick Khan, Lee Fitting, Paul Levesque. I'm calling you guys out, bro. Y'all need to get your shit together. Like, you guys are like, it's clear as day sometimes. I'm just like, dude, like, oh my God, like, do you watch your product? Do you listen to the people out there? Like, to me, it's just mind-boggling. And I'm like, here's the thing. I know people are keyboard warriors sometimes and they want to say stuff, but if there's any common theme in anything, it's the crowd, right? Because you're going to a different place, different city every single time, right? It's one thing seeing it online and reading about it, but come on, like, listen to the people. You did it to Cody and the Roman Reigns. We were gonna see The Rock and Roman Reigns, but then you listened to the crowd and said, "Oh, it's Cody's time. Let's finish his story," right? Yeah, Swerve. I mean, who's to say they can't do the same thing? But
I think it's too late to do a swerve on something like that right now. You're going to have to play this one out. But the last thing I'll say about this is this segment was Randy was on the phone again tonight. And the last thing he said, he was talking on the phone and he said, "I'll see you soon." And I think everybody there tonight in Pittsburgh was thinking, is whoever this "see you soon" was going to maybe be there. Maybe not yet.
I think we see the unveiling over at Mania. I think that's when we see it. Once he wins, I think that's when we see that person. Or maybe they come out with him during his entrance. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. But he said, "I'll see you soon."
Yep.
And that's how that segment ended. He was on the phone again. "Hey, I'm glad you called." He was talking. And then how it ended was, "Yeah, I'll see you soon."
Yeah.
And I'm still going with my prediction. I hope, and I think it's the dirtiest player in the game, Ric Flair. I know we saw a few things out there with Ted DiBiase now dropping little breadcrumbs and him talking with his lawyer on the phone. And I don't know. But who is Randy still talking to?
It's out there. I think we see it. I think we see it pay off, and hopefully it's soon. But nonetheless, episode 13 of the Ringside Rewind podcast with Matt and Andre. Thank you guys again for tapping in and hearing us out. Matt, You got anything to say before we sign off of here?
No, all I could say is the road to WrestleMania, I say it all the time, is heating up. We got exactly, I believe, tomorrow would be 21 days to night one, 3 weeks away, guys. So it's going to be good. Look forward to episode 14 next week. And we thank you all for joining us.
Nonetheless, thank you guys so much, and we'll see you guys next episode.